Live from the BDN Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then
You ain't black.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Outlaws and Gunslingers podcast with your host, Bang and Dang, Bang here, Dang there, and we got one of those double features for you today. This time we're heading straight to, we're going to call it the Murder Mitten Chronicles Part 1.
Murder in the Mitten.
Both of these cases we're going to do here, they're short ones, but they are two massacres, and they both are in the top 3 of deadliest massacres in Michigan history, with the first obviously being Bat School, which we've already covered. So we got 1, 2, and 3 down in the
Michigan
books
be called the Hand of Death.
First up, we got 1971's Hazelwood Massacre. This one down by Detroit, and pretty crazy as 8 individuals were shot and killed.
I'm surprised there's not no more stories like this.
Oh, there are.
From the Detroit area.
Of course there are.
You know?
Of course there are. This is why this is the Murder Mitten Chronicles Part 1. Because there's more. 8 of them shot and killed at a house on Hazelwood Street in Detroit.
Dang.
It was the largest mass murder in the city's history. Yeah, police believe one of the victims, heroin dealer and pimp Robert Gardner, was the target, and that the others were killed to avoid leaving witnesses. Can't leave those loose ends.
Makes sense.
Police
71,
further,
yeah.
of course. Police further believe that Gardner had robbed 2 Toronto drug dealers while they were visiting Detroit in March of 71. This happened, the massacre happened in June, and that Toronto dealers took a hit out on Gardner in revenge. It remains officially unsolved to this day.
Yeah, there's some
mob connections or something, right?
Some organized crime going on there.
Crazy.
14th of June, 1971, shortly after 4:30 a.m. 8 people were shot in the living room of an apartment at a red brick house located in 1970 Hazelwood Street in Detroit. 7 of the victims died immediately.
Immediately.
You know what that means. Police received calls from neighbors who heard the shots. They also received a call from the wife of Robert Gardner, who reported that she entered the house, found her husband had been shot, and drove him to Henry Ford Hospital.
Wow.
She then reported, "There's a bloodbath in that house, and you better send some police."
Jeez.
She should say, "You better send the army."
Right. The 7 victims who died on the scene were Catherine Louise Winston, age 19. She lived down the block on Hazelwood Street. Narcissa Lee, who was named, or they called her Tessie. Tessie Brown, she was age 19. She lived down the street. Catherine Betty Vassar, age 22, also known as Catherine Vassar, and Sheila Williams, okay. She lived on the 1600 block of Seward in Detroit.
All right.
Sharon Brown, age 20, also known as Jacqueline Foster. Okay, clearly these are the hoes, huh?
Hell yeah. Right.
And Linda Johnson was one of her names. She lived at 5618 14th Street, Detroit. Romandel Burton, age 24, of 69 Portage. He lived in Highland Park, and he was a security guard at Tiger Stadium.
No shit.
Carl Carrington Mounts Jr., age 27, also known as Robert Lee Go. He lived at 2708 West Grand Boulevard in Detroit. And Lloyd Taboo Tyler, 27 years old. He lived at 1975 Webb Street in Detroit. All 7 were shot in the head at close range. Cartridges were recovered from guns with 3 different calibers.
Oh shit.
Analysis of the cartridges identified the murder weapons as a 30 caliber carbine, 30 caliber pistol, and a 45 caliber automatic.
Ooh-wee.
Damn.
3 of the women had their hands tied in the front with rubber surgical tubing. And one of the women had her arms wrapped around another's waist.
Jeez.
All of the bodies were found in the living room. 2 of the men appeared to have been sitting on the floor, and their heads fell into the fireplace after being shot. Oh, was it on?
Hope it was on.
Another was leaning against the couch.
Well, it was June. I don't think the fireplace would be on.
Right. Another was leaning against the couch. 3 of the women were on the couch, and the 4th woman was near the couch. The 8th victim, Robert Gardner, was shot in his mouth, chest, and stomach.
Jeez.
He fell approximately 10 feet from the front door. Police theorized that he answered the door and was shot as he backed away from the shooters.
Wow. And he's the one that they're after, huh? Gardner was taken to Henry Ford Hospital where he died from his wounds 6 days later on June 20th. All 8 victims were African American. 3 other occupants of the apartment, 2 women and 1 man, escaped by breaking through the rear window of the sun porch and fleeing down an alley. Oh, wow. They came to police headquarters afterwards. The killings became commonly known as the Hazelwood Massacre. Did they not? They must have not have seen those 2. They must have been in a different room or something.
Man,
There was like,
hey.
hey.
Bouncing. That's the thing about heroin addicts. They don't stick around.
Right.
Mofos bounce.
Oh, you know there was some addicts in there.
4 men were seen fleeing the house. Witnesses described them as wearing windbreakers and tam o' shanter hats. Whatever that is. What's a tam o' shanter hat? Oh, those little...
It's a Scottish bonnet.
Right.
What?
Yeah. Inside the house, police found 11 guns, 5 handguns, 5 long guns, and a shotgun, none of which had been fired recently. Subsequent analysts confirmed that the guns in the house were not used in the massacre. Police also found packets of a substance believed to be heroin, as well as paraphernalia. I mean, you gotta have, if you have one, you gotta have the other. And, oh, not a surprise here, some spoons, some tin foil, and they also found hypodermic needles.
Oh, yeah.
Total of $673, which is about $4,500 today. And cash was found on the victims, including 5 $100 bills.
Well, so we know it's not robbery.
Mm-hmm.
Vera Gibson, who lived with her husband and children in the apartment directly above the murder scene, said she woke to the sound of breaking glass, presumed to be the sound of the 3 survivors that broke the sun porch window. And then she heard several gunshots a few minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so they fled even before the gunshots. Oh, wow. They knew some shit was about to happen.
You ain't kidding.
Maybe they set it up.
Right.
Gibson then heard Miss Gardner run upstairs, reporting that her husband had been shot and asking to use the phone.
What?
Where was she at?
Yeah, where was she at?
Just like randomly come home right afterwards. However, the Gibsons had no telephone.
I don't know what to tell you.
Gibson described the Gardners as a pleasant couple who had moved in recently. Neighbors reported that young people had recently been seen going in and out of the house during the night as well. Drug addicts.
Right. Maybe they didn't start off being like that and shit got rough.
Well, I'm sure they started off like that.
Right. A team of 20 detectives led by Homicide Inspector James Bannon was assigned to the investigation. Inspector Bannon described the apartment as a suspected narcotics den. He said that the 4 of the 7 killed had criminal records for narcotics and prostitution. One of the victims, Lloyd Tyler, had multiple felony convictions, including a 1968 robbery of a jewelry store that ended in a shootout with the police.
Dang.
He was also a heroin addict who had been ordered to enter a federal narcotics treatment center in Kentucky. But back then, they were like, I order you to do this, but I would not enforce it.
Well, we order you to, but we don't follow up.
Right. And that was a condition of the probation. But it rejected him due to his antisocial behavior. Really?
Yeah.
So he went?
Apparently. And he didn't like people, so they were like, this ain't
like,
the place
you know
for
what,
you.
bud? Heroin's a good place for you.
Right. Just drown your sorrows.
Right.
Well, Bannon called it an execution-type slaying. He added that they were mystified at the sedentary, even placid positions of the 7 bodies. Well, 3 of the chicks were tied up, so they couldn't have been like just sitting there like they were enjoying themselves.
Right.
Noting that one man was found with a cigarette in his hand and dollar bills on his lap.
Really?
They were probably just chilling. The chicks were probably freaking out, so they probably had to tie them up, right? The days immediately following the shooting, police rejected the notion that the massacre was a robbery.
Right.
As obviously, like we said, they left both money and drugs untouched at the scene. Instead, police theorized that someone who had been sold fake heroin by Gardner returned for revenge and that the other 7 victims were in the wrong place, wrong time.
I was at the wrong place.
The right time. The revenge theory was supported by the discovery in the apartment of a quantity of substance that was initially thought to be heroin, but which proved to be milk, sugar, and quinine.
Really?
Quinine. I don't know what that is. They later began pursuing leads, indicating that Gardner may have robbed other drug dealers. So this dude's a scumbag.
I hope they figure it out before they try injecting it. Does it melt down like it?
Oh, it's just sugar. Ain't gonna do nothing to you.
Sugar in your veins?
Ain't no worse than the heroin that's going in your veins. Right?
I don't know, bud.
What's quinine? Quinine is used to treat malaria. What the hell?
Oh, no.
So it's going to get you high, probably.
Maybe.
Oh, well, okay. Well, it's in tonic water, so.
Really?
It's bitter but sweet taste, apparently. So what the hell? Yeah, it's probably safe to shoot up, right? I guess. All right. Good for them.
Police later opined that Gardner was the target of the attack.
Yeah.
Police described the other victim as Gardner's associates, 3 dealers and 4 whores, who were killed in order to eliminate them as witnesses. Police described Gardner and another individual, Gerald Williams, as middle-rank heroin dealers.
Hey, middle rank, though. Good for them, right?
Right. Based on its investigation, the Detroit Free Press reported that Gardner was both a heroin dealer and a pimp.
Yeah, double duty.
4 days after the Hazelwood Massacre, Williams was shot 6 times and killed at a motel on the west side of Detroit. Police believe that Williams had set up Gardner, telling the gunman where to find him.
Williams, piece of garbage.
Police suspected that Williams, they don't even know, they're guessing. I think they're looking for him and they found him. Maybe, we'll see. Police suspected that Williams may even have been in the apartment on Hazelwood at the time of the massacre. Maybe he was one of the dudes that ran. Oh, no, they went to the police department, didn't they? Right. All right, and then he was later killed to be eliminated as a witness.
Yeah, probably how that happened. A few days into the investigation, police began following a lead tying the massacre to Toronto, Ontario. A team of homicide detectives was sent there. Sources informed the Detroit Free Press in late June that Williams was supplying heroin to dealers in Toronto, but the Toronto dealers were angry that Williams was diluting the heroin. Come on, guy. Gardner then took over supplying the Canadians, but he was also suspected of diluting the product.
Obviously.
Unhappy with the diluted heroin being supplied by Williams and Gardner, the Toronto dealers in March have traveled with a representative to Detroit to search for a new source of supply. They're like, gotta get these two guys. Why are we messing with these two addicts anyways?
Uh-oh. Shit's about to twine here. Well, Gardner then learned of the plan and kidnapped the representative from a taxi cab.
Jeez.
Gardner then used this man to gain access to a motel room where the two Toronto dealers were staying. Gardner and an accomplice reportedly then robbed the dealers, getting away with approximately $13,000 in cash, $4,000 in jewelry, $3,000 to $4,000 in cocaine.
Damn.
And they didn't kill him. Gardner said, you know what? You guys roll it out. That's so stupid. Why would you not? In retaliation, see, these guys were dumb guys. They should have just got rid of them. Well, in retaliation, obviously, the Toronto dealers were like, oh, hell no.
He's like, what is this all about?
What is this all about? They hired a gunman, and they were like, go kill that guy. And that gunman was like, will do.
Will do. Gardner got wind of the planned hit and moved from his apartment at 2635 Cortland to a house at 95 Portage in Highland Park.
Oh, shit.
The Highland Park location was reportedly used by two of the other victims, Lloyd Tyler and Romandale Burton, and they sold heroin for Gardner out of that location.
Right.
Seeking to remain on the move, Gardner relocated to the apartment on Hazelwood. He had also traveled to New York City, but was reportedly lured back to Detroit by a phone call from Williams advising Gardner of a potentially profitable drug deal.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Maybe Williams does have something to do with this.
Right.
Maybe they had Williams and was like, I'll spare your life.
Yeah, Williams seems like a pretty shady guy. He probably did it to eliminate him because he took over from him supplying these guys. So
Right. At the time it occurred, the Hazelwood Massacre was the biggest mass slaying in Detroit history. It was part of a record year for murders in Detroit.
Yeah, 71s all through the 70s were tough for big cities.
Many tied to drug wars, with the final death toll for the year reaching 690. During the 1970s, Detroit led the nation in homicides, became known as Motor City? No. Moita City. Moita!
It's murder!
As of 2001, the Hazelwood Massacre remained the worst mass killing in the city's history.
Wow. As of 2001?
As of
nothing's
2001.
changed in 20 years, huh?
1990, 5 persons were fatally shot and another critically injured at a reputed crack house in northeast Detroit. It was the worst mass murder in Detroit since the Hazelwood Massacre. No one has ever been arrested, and the case remains cold.
Oh, it's a cold case. Hey, you guys didn't know any information about
Right.
the Hazelwood Massacre? Call your local police department. Don't say you got it from us, because we don't want those damn Toronto Scottish bastards coming after us.
Man, they still haven't caught these guys?
Nope.
Dude.
Well, that leads us to...
Wow. So, there's a lot of stuff missing there. I mean, I guess it's all pretty much there.
I mean, right.
They
Retaliation, assassinated, done.
Those idiots, if they're... Oh.
Well, you never let the guys go. You just robbed equivalent of what? Over $100,000 in today's money and goods?
Come on. And plus, they were there to... Well, no, actually, they were going to let you go. They just wanted a new supplier.
Right. They weren't even there to do nothing to them. They were trying to look for new guys.
Oh, man.
Brought it on himself. That's what happens when you get greedy.
Well, maybe it worked out how it should have then.
Well, that leads us to the second largest massacre in Michigan history, which is known as the Rock Road Massacre, also known as the Farwell murders or the Clare County murders. Clare County, most of you guys are probably like, who? Yeah, we say the same thing here in Michigan. There's nothing going on there.
Just north of Mount Pleasant, and they got a famous hotel, world famous.
What?
The Doherty Hotel.
What?
The Doherty Hotel.
Is it haunted?
I don't know if it is haunted, but it's famous.
I would assume it's haunted. That?
Is that in Clare? Yeah.
What is it supposed to be?
I don't know. I just know it's famous.
Why is it so famous?
I don't know. A lot of people go there, I guess.
I don't think so.
Big names. Big names has been there.
Yeah, because it's 20 minutes from Soaring Eagle. That's where all probably the acts. Well, no, why wouldn't they stay at the Soaring Eagle? That's stupid. Maybe they did before the thing came.
Before the hotel.
Yeah, see, Haunted Michigan. I knew there was some.
Oh, is it? Dorney Hotel, is it haunted?
Haunted stuff. All right, let's look at the backstory on that. Oh, a hotbed of activity during Prohibition. So, some big Detroit players probably. That was probably a mob hangout back in the day.
That was a speakeasy?
Well, not a speakeasy, but maybe, 1920s. Dougherty Hotel. Daughtry. Come on.
Look at it. A Wikipedia? A Wikipedia?
No, that means it's not even that famous.
What?
It ain't even got a Wikipedia
It should.
page.
It's a famous hotel. It says it on the side of the building. When you drive through.
I seen it, so it must be true.
Right.
Oh, yep. Purple Gang like to hang out there.
Oh, Purple Gang was there, bud? Nice.
Mobsters hung out there. Does it mean there were murders that took place at the...
Oh, I bet. That'd be a perfect spot to do it, way up there.
There was one in 1938. Oil promoter Jack Livingston shot and killed his cousin. Purple Gang lawyer, businessman Isaiah Leibove in the tap room. I believe Isaiah's ghost was one of the spirits that haunt the hotel, along with the Doherty family matriarch Helen Doherty.
Oh, Helen died in there?
They've all had some kind of experience. We got Helen's perfume scent.
The
loud
spirit
knocking,
of other murder
doors
victims.
open.
There's other murder victims? Yeah, how many people died in this place?
Okay, so world famous paranormal hotel.
Is that what it is?
There's an underground tunnel used by the Purple Gang that led out of the Doherty Hotel.
Right, I heard something about that. And it goes,
probably to one of their little hideouts. Oh, dang. Murder.
Why not?
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Clare County. Purple Gang monsters hung out there, so good for them, right?
Right.
Anyways, that's probably about all you're going to hear from Clare County in Michigan. We don't even know what happens there.
Yeah,
it's
the Amish been there forever.
Yeah, especially this Farwell place that we're about to mention.
We don't know what the Amish do. The Amish probably got some stories.
We're talking about some like hillbilly towns up here, guys. Plus, we got a bunch of fields up there and a bunch of illegals.
Yeah.
Other than that, Clare County, known for this, I guess.
And plus, there's a lot of oil up in that part of Michigan.
Yeah, Oil City.
Back in the day, there was a jive.
It was a jive. All right. The Clare County murders, 1982 mass murder in which 7 members of the George W. Post family, 4 adults and 3 children, were killed with a shotgun, a rifle, and a handgun at a farmhouse on Rock Road in Garfield Township, just west of Farwell. Robert Lee Haggart, a 32-year-old livestock auctioneer, was convicted of the murders. The murders occurred on the day before a court hearing to finalize Haggart's divorce from one of the victims, who was Garnetta Haggart. Oh, no. Dude couldn't take getting divorced, so he took it out on the whole family like a little bitch, dude. I hate people that do that.
December 1982. Associated Press included the Post family murders at number 3 on its list of the most important news stories in Michigan during 1982.
What was number 2? What was number 1?
All right.
What would have happened in 1982?
As of 2022, the massacre still ranked as the 3rd largest mass murder in Michigan history, after the 1927 Bath School disaster and 1971 Hazelwood Massacre, which we did both of those.
Right. Clearly. Robert Lee Haggart was born in 1950. He grew up in Rosebush, Michigan, but he attended Mount Pleasant High School.
Hey.
In 1968, Haggart enlisted in the Army and qualified as a sharpshooter. Oh, here we go. And served in Germany and Vietnam.
Oh, shit.
Served in Nam. After his discharge from the Army, Haggart returned to Rosebush, where he worked on farms, sold livestock feed, and worked as a livestock auctioneer.
Right.
He developed a reputation as a heavy drinker and a man with an eye for the ladies.
Ooh. Did the ladies have an eye for him?
Right. June 74, after drinking at a wedding reception at the Rosebush American Legion, Haggart had physical relations with a 14-year-old girl who had also been drinking at the reception.
Oh, man. He was initially charged with rape, but accepted a plea to reduce the charge of taking indecent liberties.
That I agree with.
Right.
You know, this
Taking
girl's
advantage.
14, she's been drinking, you
Right.
piece of shit.
He was sentenced to 3 years of probation. A short time later, another woman accused Haggart of attacking her. He was sentenced to 2 years and 10 months in prison for probation violations.
It's like, what would tell you? Stay away from the women, Haggart.
Right. Haggart spent 2 years in prison. He was released on parole in 1977 in the month of June, and he returned to Rosebush, Michigan.
All right. Well, poor old Garnetta Ronning was born in 1958 in Midland, Michigan. She was the daughter of Vaudrey Post. Okay. When Vaudrey married George W. Post, Garnetta became George's stepchild. George also had children from a prior marriage, and they all lived together on the family farm on Rock Road outside of Farwell.
We're a lovely lady.
Right.
I had one child. He had
children.
of his own. They don't say how many.
Right. Age 15, Garnetta was caught by her stepfather having intimate relations with a boy.
We lived on Rock Road outside of Farwell, and I was far from home.
Until this one day I met this guy from the army. We started dating and I married him. Well, I filed for divorce shortly thereafter. Then he came to murder our whole family.
Family.
The murdered bunch. Pow, 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 pow. That's the way we became the murdered bunch. Boom, 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 boom. That's fucked up.
Vaudry.
That's fucked up. Age 15, Garnetta was caught by her stepfather having intimate relations with a boy.
Uh-oh.
Hoping to avoid punishment, Garnetta claimed that George had raped her. Oh, come on, George.
Was caught by her stepfather.
Oh, wait, she tried to blame it on...
George.
He caught her, and she tried to turn it around on him and said, you raped me.
Right.
Well, the story was proven to be false.
I'm glad.
Upon turning 16, Garnetta became a waitress working with her aunt at the K&A Chow House in Loomis, Michigan. So
This Garnetta.
Right.
Oh, my.
Seems to be...
Wow. October 1977, the body of Doris Arndt was discovered near I-75. She had been raped and strangled. She was last seen alive with Haggart at a bar in Midland.
Huh.
Haggart was questioned but never charged.
What the hell's he doing all the way in Midland?
It's not that far. Decades later, DNA evidence tied Haggart to Arndt's murder.
Oh, they
shit.
had him right there.
Late summer 1977, Haggart met Garnetta while eating at the K&A Chow House. He became a regular, and the two began dating. Garnetta became pregnant and had an abortion.
Well, okay.
Haggart was very angry about this abortion.
He was hangry, too.
Right.
He's like, that's why I'm at the Chow House.
Right. And they stopped seeing each other for some time.
Oh.
However, late 1980, Haggart moved in with Garnetta in her mobile home in Loomis.
Oh, go figure.
They were married on February 1981.
Well, you remember how I said at the beginning of this
Right.
hillbilly stuff up there?
Mhm.
Mobile home. The relationship was troubled with arguments over Haggart spending hours at bars and financial troubles, including bounced checks.
Oh, wow.
Garnetta showed up at the Chow House one day with bruises on her face from a beating by Haggart. June 1981, Haggart wrote a check for $17,801 for the purchase of 35 head of cattle, but the
Dang.
check bounced, and the police opened an investigation.
Why would he do that? No one is going to bounce.
Right. And you know what
He
the
thought
hell
you can get rid of that cattle?
What the hell are you going to do with 35 head of cattle real quick? July 81, Garnetta left Haggart, moved in with her mother, and filed for divorce. August of 1981, a warrant was issued for Haggart's arrest for writing a bad check.
Oh, man. This guy. Check fraud.
Right.
Haggart fled the area. He had been working as a hog auctioneer, but stopped showing up for work.
I bet.
And his employer noted he just disappeared all of a sudden. Haggart moved to Haletown, Tennessee, where he began dating Linda Thomas, 23-year-old pizzeria cook.
All right. Got a thing for restaurant chicks, huh?
Garnetta also left Michigan, moving to Florida, where she worked in a restaurant.
All right.
You see, that's what happens. You go from being a trailer park trash to Michigan and go to Florida.
And be trailer park trash over there.
Right. Just now you got roaches.
Right. You might have had them up here, too.
Yeah, very.
At least they were mild in the winter.
Yeah.
Hearing to finalize divorce was set for February 17, 1982. Garnetta returned to Michigan for the hearing. Haggart also returned, leaving Haletown by bus early on Monday, February 15th.
Yeah, that was the whole thing, too.
Right. February 16th, the Post family held a reunion with Garnetta. They gathered at the family's farmhouse on a 57-acre pig farm at 5603 West Rock Road, 7 miles west of Farwell. Farwell was at the time a village with approximately 700 residents located 80 miles north of Lansing.
Still about the same.
Probably, right? Maybe about 1,100 now or something.
Possible. Haggart came to the farmhouse after taking buses from Tennessee. Why would he go to the farmhouse?
Well, it's all he knew. Oh, he was going there he was intent on doing some shit as soon as he got there, huh? Apparently.
According to the timeline presented by prosecutors, his first victim was Garnetta's stepfather, George W. Post, age 53. Post was a lanky man, the village's mail carrier, father of 7, treasurer of the Farwell School Board, commander of the local VFP post.
Look at you guys.
He was also active in civic projects and donated pigs for VFW pig roasts that helped to pay for the VFW's new hall.
Good for him.
Just a good guy.
Everybody knew him, man.
Haggart shot Post with Post's shotgun.
Oh, jeez.
Post's body was found at the base of the staircase in the basement of a farmhouse.
Basement? I wonder what they were doing down there. According to the prosecution timeline, Haggart next turned his attention to Garnetta's stepsister, Helen Gaffney, age 29. Helen attended the reunion with her 4 children. After the shooting of her father, prosecutors argued that Helen attempted to flee with her children in a pickup truck. Haggart opened fire on the truck using both a shotgun and a handgun. Helen's body was discovered slumped over the bodies of 3 of her children, Angela, age 10, Tom, age 8, and Amy, age 7.
Oh, no. Were they dead?
Yes.
Oh, man. 4th child, Amanda Gaffney, referred to as Mandy, 15 months old, was found alive in the truck. Dan Duma, the deputy who discovered Amanda, testified she was on the floorboard of the bullet-ridden truck and was clutching the body of her 10-year-old sister and was covered with blood.
Jeez.
Amanda sustained only a bump on the head as her mother pushed her to the truck floor out of harm's way. Local media coverage portrayed Helen as a hero, dying while trying to shield her children.
The prosecution argued that Haggart then lay in wait for the arrival of Garnetta. She ain't even there yet. She was age 23, huh?
Jeez.
He used fresh snow to cover the blood on the ground beneath the truck. Garnetta arrived with her mother, Valdry, age 42. Valdry was a part-time cafeteria worker at the high school who also served on the township election board. Model citizens up in this place.
All right.
Haggart shot Garnetta and Valdry as they entered the kitchen. The murders occurred between 5 and 6:30 p.m. Another of Post's daughters, Alice Russell, arrived at approximately 6:30 with her husband, Mark, and their 2 children.
Oh, no.
The house was dark except for a light in the bathroom. The family's 3 collie dogs were out front guarding the house. The Russells walked into the kitchen, turned on the light, and discovered the bodies of Valdry and Garnetta on a bloody floor.
Oh, man.
The Russells ran to the house of a neighbor, Norman Pelch. Pelch went to the Post farm, saw the scene, and called the sheriff's department. State police, crime laboratory specialists, and a state police helicopter were dispatched to the scene. Wow.
Holy shit.
Got
Dude,
busted
you
a
imagine
helicopter
that, dude?
now, huh? Coming into that.
You're pulling into a driveway, Garnetta and her mom. She's like, oh, look, they're already here.
Right.
Do.
So excited to see Dad.
Right. And there's dead bodies in the truck that you just pulled next to. And there's dead bodies in the
In
house.
the basement.
Soon to be 2 dead bodies in the kitchen.
Crazy.
Lansing State Journal reported, before the grisly event was a day old, people had a name for it. The Rock Road Massacre, obviously. It was the worst mass murder in Michigan since 1971. It was the first homicide in Clare County since 1979. It's 2 years. I mean, I guess.
3 years.
3 years.
It's a long time.
I guess.
Haggart fled the murder scene in Valdry's car. Stupid. A 1980 white and blue 4-door Buick LeSabre. Hey, driving Valdry's car, Haggart returned to Tennessee, arriving in... Damn, he made it all the way to Tennessee, huh?
Wow.
Arriving in Haletown on Wednesday night, February 17th. Thursday, February 18th, Haggart went to a restaurant owned by his roommate, Glenn C. Davis. Davis had read about the murders and recognized the LeSabre Haggart was driving and called the po-pos.
Oh, shit.
Police set up a roadblock, and as Haggart approached the roadblock, he tried to turn around, but officers blocked his way with their cars. An officer approached and pointed a gun in Haggart's ear. He said, I bet you I'll blow your fucking head off right now.
Right.
That's the way cops talk, you know.
Right.
Haggart had a loaded .38 caliber revolver by his feet, but did not resist. So what the hell are you going to do?
Right.
He was held at the Marion County Jail pending extradition to Michigan.
Oh, you know they were taking him.
Oh, damn right.
Time of his arrest, Haggart was accompanied in the car by his girlfriend, Linda Thomas. She was arrested and later released. Marion County Sheriff's Department searched Haggart's apartment in Haletown. They discovered blood-stained blue jeans and boots belonging to Haggart. Is that a song?
Bloodstained blue jeans. Why you still got these things, dude?
That's the stupid.
These guys are idiots.
The blood was later linked to 2 of the victims, obviously.
I'm assuming.
Haggart waived extradition on February 19th.
Man, he's like, just take me back to Michigan. Right?
He was flown back to Michigan on Saturday, February 20th, accompanied by Clare County Sheriff Gazy Alec. They call him Gus. Haggart was then taken to Clare County Jail in Harrison, Michigan. He arrived on the same day that 200 people gathered at the Coker Funeral Home to view the closed caskets of the deceased.
Clothes. What's that mean?
You know what that means. He had
Face shots. Shotguns and shit, dude.
Oh.
Haggart was tried for the murders in September of 1982. Because of pretrial publicity, the case was moved from Clare County to Midland County.
Yeah, whatever.
Haggart was represented by James Wilson, and Thomas McLaughlin was the prosecutor. Circuit Judge Tyrone Gillespie presided over the trial. All right, Tyrone. After more than 70 prospective jurors were questioned, a jury of 8 women and 6 men, including 2 alternates, were sworn in September 13th. 2 of the women were alternates, leaving a final jury of 6 and 6.
Fantastic.
Right. Can't be more down the middle than that, right?
All right, I'd say so. This has to be an open and shut thing here,
I
right?
would hope so.
Prosecution presented its opening argument 14th September, outlining its pyramid of evidence. Among other things, the prosecution presented testimony from neighbors who had seen Haggart in front of the farm and from others who confirmed Haggart's bus travel to Detroit and then to Farwell.
Nobody heard the 17 shots he fired at the damn pickup truck when it was trying to back out of the driveway?
I don't think there's very many houses there.
Well,
I
one...
guess you still would have heard it.
Right. The one lady, the sister ran to the house.
Yeah, to the neighbors.
Right.
Right.
Either or.
Right.
That's not normal. I don't give a fuck how far you in the country are.
Right. Dr. Lawrence Simmons, the doctor who examined the victims, testified that the victims had been shot with a shotgun, a rifle, and then a handgun.
Not all of them.
Right. A fingerprint expert testified that Haggard's prints were not found at the crime scene.
He didn't touch nothing but his guns.
Two ballistics experts testified that one of the two spent .38 caliber bullets found at the scene matched the gun found in the car Haggard was driving when he was arrested.
And he's still carrying the gun. What an idiot.
Yeah, why would you...
Criminals are stupid.
I like that gun.
A blood analyst testified that blood found on clothing seized from Haggard's apartment in Tennessee had unusual characteristics consistent with one of the victims.
Okay.
October 1st, after presenting 200 exhibits and testimony from 67 witnesses, the prosecution rested its case. October 4th, Haggard's attorney rested without presenting any evidence or witnesses and without putting Haggard on the stand. He said, just pay me my money and put this guy in jail. Haggard's attorney argued that the prosecution had failed to meet its burden of proof.
I don't know. I think it's...
I think it's pretty proving.
Right.
He suggested in closing that Haggard arrived at the post farm, found the bodies, then fled in Vaudrey's car. That's the stupidest... You are the dumbest lawyer ever. I hope you're a public defender. Because if you were hired for this...
And didn't call
And didn't call nobody, right?
Right.
Just took the car all the way back to Tennessee. And then try to avoid a roadblock.
Right. Oh, man. The jury deliberated for 7.5 hours.
Well,
really?
That's way too long.
Over 3 days.
Dumb.
When a jury goes to deliberation, they should stay there until they get a verdict, not take it in 3 days where they go for like an hour or two and be like, maybe we'll try again tomorrow. That's pretty stupid.
Maybe they were, you think they were put up in hotels?
They'd have to be, or no. No, I don't think so.
You can't just go home.
Maybe, right? A murder trial like that?
You ever seen Jury Duty?
All right. October 8th, the jury returned its verdict. They found Haggard guilty of first-degree murder in 6 of the deaths. Because of doubts to his intent, he was found second-degree murder in the death of 7-year-old Tom Gaffney. He was also found guilty of attempted murder of Amanda Gaffney.
Why was he sentenced to first-degree murder and the other 2 kids?
Right.
But not...
Right.
I don't think
that one. You didn't mean to do that one.
He didn't mean to do that one. He definitely meant to kill the mom and the other 2 kids.
Right. He meant to kill everybody.
Right.
He was found guilty of attempted murder of Amanda Gaffney, the little baby.
Right.
October 22nd, Judge Gillespie sentenced Haggard to 7 life sentences plus 32 years.
Plus those 32. That's those 32 that's going to get him.
Gillespie said to Haggard, "You have again proven to us that civilization is a veneer and that there still hides in the breast of very few men the bestiality of the Attila the Hun." Man, you're a freaking savage.
I wouldn't quite compare him to Attila the Hun, but Attila the Hun quite literally murdered hundreds of thousands of people. But okay, whatever.
If there's 100,000 people there and he had the weaponry.
Maybe in December 1982, the AP included the Post family murders at number 3 on its list of most important news stories in Michigan during 1982. Amid talk of a movie or book deal, survivors of the Post family filed a suit against Haggard, and in December 1986 received $36 million judgment.
Oh, shit.
Never going to get the money.
Never.
Garnetta's brother, Marvin Post, attempted for several years to go to the prison so he could kill Haggard with a shiv, a shank, a steel rod, or anything else he could put his hands on. Never happened, obviously.
He attempted to go to prison? Yeah. They're like, "We know what you're doing, Marv."
Oh, he attempted to go to prison.
Right.
Jeez.
What you're doing, Marv?
Are they saying go to prison as in like visit him?
No. I think
Or like
he's trying to
get
go
himself
to
locked up?
Right.
All he had to do was kill somebody.
Right. Well,
Wasn't trying that hard, was he?
maybe. He had to do it.
I think he was trying to go visit him.
No, I think he was trying to go to prison.
No.
Because there ain't no way he's going to steal a rod, a shank, or a shiv in prison to go visit somebody.
It's true.
I think he was trying to do something, and he couldn't do it. He would have had to, like, rape somebody or something.
Right.
You don't want to murder.
You don't want to rape either. At least an armed robbery or something.
Right.
Victimless crime. Put your focus on that. Just make sure it's like serious enough to go to prison for at least a year, right?
At least. Right. November 2002, Haggard died in prison of natural causes at the age of 53. Damn, at 53? Natural?
But yeah, naturally fucking
right.
alcoholic.
2009, DNA evidence tied Haggard to the 1977 rape and murder of Midland woman Doris Arndt.
Yep.
2022, the massacre still ranked as the third largest mass murder in Michigan history, and let's keep it that way, folks.
Yeah.
After 1927 Bath and 1971 Hazelwood massacres.
Yes, that was very interesting, especially
Um,
the first one a little more open and shut. I mean, drug dealers, what are you gonna do there? But
Right.
This one, the hell.
he was so angry that when he was coming back to sign the divorce papers, he was like, screw this. Why? Why didn't he even have to come back to mail them? They have to be notarized or something by somebody?
I think
Have a lawyer.
Do you have to show up for a divorce hearing?
You shouldn't have to.
Why even have a hearing?
It's ridiculous.
Well, back then, though, you couldn't just get divorced.
right, you had to go
You had to have
through
a
shit.
reason, and
Right.
the judge had to approve your divorce, which is fucking stupid.
Man, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Murder Mitten Chronicles, Part 1, baby.
So this dude was just sitting in Tennessee, just thinking of what was going to happen.
Oh, he knew.
Right.
Oh, he knew.
Wow.
So, yeah, they'll do it for us in this episode of Outlaws and Gunslingers, titled The Murder Mitten Chronicles, Part 1. We'll have lots more coming from Michigan, that's for sure. But we'll also have lots more coming from everywhere.
Every freaking
That's
where.
what we do, including the Chicago Tylenol murders.
Oh, spaghetti-o.
Tammy Joe Alexander, who
Not
was
Tammy Joe.
a
No.
American teenage girl found murdered in the town of Caledonia, New York, in 1979. We also have Leo Frank,
Not Leo.
who was a factory superintendent, convicted of murdering 13-year-old employee Mary Fagan.
Oh, he was convicted of it?
Yeah.
Poor Leo.
Plus, we got a bunch of other stuff. Barbecue murders. A chick and her boyfriend killed her stepmom and our dad. A bunch of massacres. We got a rampage killer, a teacher this time, Carl Brown.
Wait, the teacher does the shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 people, killed 8 people in Miami.
What year?
1982.
1982? Yeah. Kids were bastards back then. You ever seen
He was-
Substitute or whatever?
He was later fatally shot by 2 witnesses while cycling away from the scene.
Oh, no shit. Got on his little bike and put his little hat on and roll it on out, huh?
So we got a lot more coming up on Outlaws and Gunslingers. Plus, we still got Waco Massacre, whatever you want to call it, the Siege of Waco, Waco Massacre. Either or applies in that situation. Coming up in probably April. I think April, the beginning of April is when actually the firefight and all that shit starts. But that'll do it for us. Go check out patreon.com/bangdang for all of our shows ad-free and early, $2 a month over there. Go check out our YouTube Bang Dang Network. Try to get the subscribers up. Subscribe over there. Leave a like and review on Apple or Spotify. And let's get the algorithm going. Get this word out to people. We're doing some big things over here, guys. And
Make some big waves that are out there, man.
yeah, man, they're man. And Battles of American Civil War. And This Week in Sports History. We'll be back next week for some more Outlaws and Gunslingers. We are the Monthly Michiganders with
Bang dang.